Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you to the TiE New Jersey University Startup Pitch Competition 2022. I am Neetu Randhava, Executive Director of the New Jersey chapter of the Indus Entrepreneurs, a nonprofit venture devoted to entrepreneurs in all industries at all stages throughout the entrepreneurial life cycle. With a global reach and a local focus, the heart of TiE lies in the 5 foundational programs of mentoring, networking, education, funding, and incubation. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce and welcome the co-chairs of the TiE New Jersey University program, Mukesh Patel and Arun Shroff. Mukesh is an entrepreneur, advisor, and an investor. He is also assistant professor of professional practice at Rutgers Business School. Arun Shroff co-chairs the program and is a serial tech entrepreneur and currently founder of Extend AI, an AI ML company, and co-founder of MedIndia. He is also topic chair and invited expert for WHO's focus group on AI for health and an advisor and mentor to many startups and nonprofits. Arun, the stage is yours to introduce the program to our audience.
Yeah, thank you, Neetu, and good morning and welcome everyone to the TiE New Jersey University Startup Pitch Competition 2022 edition. We've been running this competition for 4 years now. This is the 4th year, and we're really excited to have you join us because we have a great lineup of startup entrepreneurs from across the tri-state area. We have 12 teams participating today, and the winner of today's competition is going to be representing TiE New Jersey at the TiE Global Pitch Competition, which is going to happen in May. So TiE, of course, is the largest organization of entrepreneurs in the world with almost 13,000 members, 2,800 charter members, 61 chapters in 14 countries. And of course, the TiE University program is an initiative of TiE Global, which fosters entrepreneurship among students in colleges. And it's been extremely successful in terms of bringing students along with investors and allowing students to launch their startup ideas. So we're really excited. We have a really packed program today. So without wasting too much time, I'd like to first start by welcoming all of you and also I have my pleasure to introduce Raman Kapoor, who's the president of TiE New Jersey, to say a few words to all of us. Raman, over to you.
Oh, well, thank you, Arun, and thank you, Neetu and Mukesh. I'm really thrilled to welcome all of you to this event. This is one of the more fun things I get to do, and I won't stop you from the main program. I just want to remind the student entrepreneurs the 3 things that brought you here. Don't forget those because they will lead you to success in your life, and that's purpose. You had a purpose. That's what brought you here. Planning. That's what brought you here. And perseverance. So long as you remember those 3 P's, your success in life is assured. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And back over to you, Arun.
Great. Thank you, Raman, for those inspiring words. Again, like I said, we have a packed program, 12 teams. It's my pleasure and honor to introduce the judges for today's competition. We have a really great panel of judges. Let me just see if I can bring up their profiles. Give me a second here. Share the screen. So we have our first judge is Jyoti Wazirani, who's see if I can get her. Sorry about that, small glitch here. Jyoti is a serial entrepreneur and innovative. Jyoti is a serial entrepreneur, innovative thinker. She's the president and co-founder of Food Trend Solutions, which is part of a $50 million US group. It's a digital technology organization focused on data and analytics, cloud automation, and new age app development. She's also the co-founder of Easy Jobs and is developing an entrepreneurship platform for TiE New Jersey. She's a charter member, board member of TiE New Jersey, and she has a master's degree from IIT Mumbai, a Bachelor of Engineering, BE Biomedical Engineering from Tharumal Shahani Engineering College. So welcome, Jyoti, and thank you for being a judge today. Our next judge is Dr. Suresh Kumar, who is a serial entrepreneur, professor, angel investor, builds inclusive, innovative, and economic ecosystems, the Deloitte Fast 50 and 5-time Inc. 500 ranked serial entrepreneur. Currently, Suresh serves on the board of directors of multiple high-growth firms and startups. He's also a professor of practice and director of innovation and entrepreneurship program at the College of Computing, New Jersey Institute of Technology. So thank you, Suresh, for joining us and being a judge. Our next judge is Vijay Garg. Vijay Garg is a technologist, entrepreneur, and investor. As a technologist, he's designed and built various development studios and case tools. After joining SAP, he has worked as an architect of the SAP CRM and leads the CRM technology team. He is a board member of TiE New Jersey and president of IT Serve Alliance Northeast chapter. Vijay has a bachelor's of engineering degree in computer engineering from IIT Delhi. So thank you, Vijay, and thank you for joining us. And finally, we're really delighted that we have Nitin Jain, who is visiting us from TiE Singapore, joining us today as well. So Nitin is the co-founder of Grow Asia and a CFO of Smart Interns based in Singapore. Grow Asia helps small and medium-sized companies establish a presence in Asia, makes the right connections to access funding and grow. They also help Singaporean startups get funding and access to overseas markets via the international network of partners. So Nitin Jain, welcome, and thank you for joining us. All right, so now we're ready to get started with our teams. Neetu, do we have the first team ready to start?
Yes, Pradnya, you can begin with share screen.
Thank you.
So the first team is ADConnect, Pradnya Desai. Pradnya, over to you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes. Please
Yes.
proceed.
Okay. So, hi everyone, my name is Pradnya Desai, and this is my second experience with TiE. I represented the New Jersey chapter in the Global Hackathon last year. I'm the founder of ADConnect, and I have some teaching experience with elementary school children in India and the United States. And some of these children had ADHD. And my common experience was that these children faced a lot of challenges with social skills and integration into teams and integration with society. And therefore, the mission of ADConnect is to help these children realize their potential by using the metaverse. So as of 2016, 2.8 million children 2 to 11 years old in the United States have been diagnosed with ADHD. And since the pandemic, these numbers have grown rapidly because of the school closures that have occurred across the country. These children are more likely to be bullied in class, and therefore they get excluded. They do not participate in activities. They do not build friendships. And their parents also face a lot of issues because there's an acute shortage of therapists for these children. The high cost of treatment is $200 sometimes over that, sometimes less than that. There's a lack of insurance coverage for these issues, and the waiting times to get an appointment are also very long and can sometimes range from 2 to 7 months. One of the parents I spoke to had a child with ADHD, and she said that they had to homeschool her son because he was picked on by his classmates in the public school system. So currently, parents have been sending their children to playgroups and therapy sessions, but the cost of these activities is very high. The waiting times to get an appointment is also very high, and there's also inaccessibility due to geographical constraints because people in various states do not have the same access to these treatments. So our solution is ADConnect, and it is a virtual reality-based multiplayer game that is geared towards children with ADHD, and this game would involve team building activities to work towards a common goal. So why would a VR multiplayer game work? This is because virtual reality has been clinically proven to improve focus due to blocking out distractions. And a multiplayer game will be very real world. It will be unpredictable like the real world and will simulate social interaction we have in our day-to-day lives. Children with ADHD are more focused when they're doing something they like, and they love video games and building things. So that's why this would be something they're interested in, and they would therefore participate. One of the psychologists echoed this, and she said that in her experience, no matter how difficult it is to focus, children with ADHD can sit down for a game. Our value proposition is that we save time because these services are on demand. We save money because it reduces the cost of sending children to playgroups or therapy sessions by 86 to 96%. And we also improve access to therapy and treatment because children who could not previously access therapy can now get some form of social skills development support. So this is my team. We have an ADHD coach and a psychologist as our advisors, and there are more advisors joining in the coming months. So we did a detailed competitive analysis, and the advantage we have over the competition is that we are the only solution that is being developed specifically for children with ADHD. So we're only focusing on a few states in the East Coast right now: New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. So these numbers are based on that, and this is due to the geographical constraints related to renting out VR headsets. So based on the target market of the 5 states on the East Coast I just mentioned, in year 3, our revenue will be close to $3.9 million, and we will have a gross margin of around $1.6 million. So our revenue stream will be through a subscription service, and that will be around $10 per month with unlimited sessions. And we will also have a small percentage of rental income because some parents might not have VR headsets. So we will be able to bundle that into the subscription service. So that will have a small income as well. So we will be able to reach parents who have children with ADHD, as we've done in our customer discovery, through Facebook groups online, homeschool associations, and industry conferences. So finding the appropriate solution to the challenge faced by these children with ADHD would have a major impact on the development of neurodiverse children and the role they can play in the workforce of the future. I'm looking to raise $250,000 to help with building out my team and the MVP over the next 12 months. And I'm also looking for technical mentors who can help me with VR product development. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you to TiE New Jersey for the opportunity to present here. Really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you so much, Pradnya. That was really a great presentation. So we have 2 minutes for Q&A, and I'll ask the judges to see if they have any questions.
Pradnya, good concept and an important need you highlighted. How far are you in the solution stage right now?
I'm still working on building the solution since I'm looking for some more funding and trying to build out an MVP. I have built out, I'm in the process of building a prototype right now. Since this is since we have to work with psychologists, we have to get their input in order to design the solution. So we have a design in place, but I'm just working on building it out. It's a lot of back and forward between medical professionals to ensure that this thing would actually help children. So that's where I'm at right now.
All the best.
Thank you.
Pradnya, can you describe, this obviously is a big problem, especially New Jersey, I think is the leading state in the whole of the US. So big problem. My question is, have you been to some conferences and others can you just briefly summarize your experience from that?
Yes. So I actually have been to two conferences, which were, I've been to a couple, but these two were very impactful. So one of them was a conference based in Silicon Valley. I attended it in person last year through the NSF iCourse program. I got some funding from NSF for that. And this conference was based on virtual reality, augmented reality. So I attended all the sessions which were related to healthcare, so using these technologies for healthcare. And initially my solution was based on AR, augmented reality. And I was going there and talking to people and asking them to give feedback. And I realized through interactions with researchers that AR wouldn't be the best solution because it might actually distract these children with ADHD even more. So that's why I then learned from these researchers and then moved, like, kind of pivoted to VR, because everyone was telling me that this is what is helping children more. And after I did some more research, I realized that there are some companies which are already working towards similar things, like I showed in the competition slide, and also looked at the existing medical literature to see that VR would be a better solution than AR. I also attended a conference which was based on ADHD. So this wasn't a tech conference based on ADHD, and we had parents, people with ADHD, parents of children with ADHD, anyone involved in the ecosystem, medical professionals, ADHD coaches, psychiatrists, psychologists, and I was able to speak to them. So that was where actually I found one of my advisors. She was present at the conference, and I was able to go into some support groups and actually talk to parents right over there. And that was what informed my customer discovery even more.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pratnya, you mentioned that there are other products that are there in the market and they are focused on autism. And have you ever, the people who are using it or, seen the product, how it is, did you experience that?
I have not spoken to a parent who's used the product, but I've spoken to two psychologists who have had clients who've used. This was based on autism, and through my independent research on the product and also by talking to these psychologists, I realized that they do say that it helps with ADHD also, because they sometimes go together. Many children with autism have ADHD, but the problem is that these are focused on basic life skills. Like, for instance, there will be an experience of your experience that will help children with autism cross the road or raise their hand in class. And this is not something which children with ADHD really require, because they're able to do those things on their own. Their issue is more with focus and social skills. So that was one thing I wanted to change, because this did not focus on that. And another thing was that this is not a multiplayer product, like the Florio, that game, it's not multiplayer. So there's some pre-existing experiences and people can just interact with those. But the thing is that social skills are real world. They change. You can't just interact with the same virtual hologram and just expect it to work. So I wanted something that was more realistic. And there are applications out there which are not geared for ADHD, but they have something in VR which is more realistic, like multiplayer, and it seems to work more. So that was where I changed the focus. Instead of using something like that to teach kids to cross the road, it'll be like teams will be working in little groups. They'll do things like build an airplane by putting together small parts, because
30
these kids love building
seconds to
things.
close.
Yep. So these kids love building things, and that's why I felt like this would be a better product for them to use.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pratnya, and thank you, the judges. Now, while the judges are deliberating on this, the last pitch.
Arun, I'll just have to inject with the time. We have a minute for our judges to score.
Right.
And I think post that, I have a video recording for one of our contestants, and then we can bring in Parth.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
You can score now for a minute. Arun, can we announce the next team?
Yes, so our next team is ANDiDREW, and we have a video recording from them because they were not able to make it. So Neetu, please go ahead and.
Picture this. You're a 12-year-old Jewish student in 6th grade. You're sitting there at your desk in your Torah class, trying to pay attention, but you can't. The teacher is going on and on about this ancient topic, which is in Hebrew, an ancient language that you don't understand. It must be really hard to focus. That 12-year-old boy went on to create Torah comics. And that 12-year-old boy was me. My name is Andrew Yalitzer, and I'm here to talk to you about ANDiDREW Torah comics. Torah comics are a great way to transform the classroom. We know that the lecture system is outdated and is not so effective, especially among young children. That's why we should bring comics into the classroom. Comics and cartooning not only can help students be engaged, but also further their learning. Over 80% of teens read comics today, so we know we'll keep them engaged. And then from Bloom's taxonomy of higher order thinking, we know that it'll be beneficial for their learning. Not only will they reflect on what they learned by thinking of how to draw a comic, they'll also demonstrate all of their knowledge and expand on that knowledge by thinking of other elements related to the comic. For example, might have learned about one thing in a scene, but then when they're drawing a comic, they'll have to think about what that person was thinking, what that person was saying, what the background was. All of this creates them, really forces them to reflect on what they learned and deepen that knowledge. Regarding pricing, we have two different systems going on over here. On the one hand, there are the comics themselves, which are the educational comics I create. I'll show them to you right now. Each one is a summary of that week's Torah portion, or the Old Testament, broken up into a weekly portion. And then the other side are the workshops, which are comic workshops, which I teach personally. But my plans are to have a curriculum and a professional development workshop for teachers to learn how to teach comics in the classroom. This way, I am not needed, but rather this system can be employed by classrooms and teachers everywhere. So for pricing, as most people do in education, this is not for the money. I started this in 6th grade because I wanted it myself. I wish that my teacher had encouraged me more to create comics, and I'm really happy that I did go into that. But I really want to encourage students to do that. So I'm trying to make as big of a difference as I can. Therefore, I'm using a sliding scale for the pricing model. It's based off of a yearly license for organizations, which range from $180 to $250 a year. And then also families can subscribe for $36 a year. That's just to receive the images of the comics. And then as of now, they can hire me to come in for a workshop for $175 on Zoom or $250 in person. And then I'm working on the professional development workshop and curriculum, which will hopefully be available so that I'm not necessary to come in, but rather teachers can learn how to do it themselves. In sales, today over the past 3 years, since I've started selling the comics, it's been $7,000 from the comics themselves, then $5,000 from the workshops. The workshops have been a lot due to COVID because of during lockdowns and different breakouts. There haven't been so many in-person activities, so I've been doing a lot of drawing classes on Zoom for the, different organizations. As far as my plans for the future, I hope to get some funds from this organization so that I can move forward with my plans of professional development and, more importantly, protecting the comics. For professional development, I have great mentors helping me along the way, including Lisa Herzog from Drexel, and also Prisma, a Jewish educational organization that works with schools on professional development, so that they would really like to promote me once I have a system set up. Regarding the system, that's what I really need the funds for, is to create a virtual library of the comics and a virtual library of the recorded workshops for teachers and students to watch, because right now it's not protected and anyone can share it with other organizations, and it can lead to people, maybe not intentionally, sharing it with people who are not licensed, just trying to share this great content but in doing so, giving it to a non-licensed member. In summary, I know that comics can make a huge impact on the classroom because I experienced it myself. Now, if you want to help that 12-year-old boy, the beginning of my story, learn more in his classes, either Torah classes or not, because this can be expanded to any topic, then join me in drawing education. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Andrew Galitzer. For more information, you can visit ANDiDREW.com, and I'd be happy to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Thank you, Team ANDiDREW. Before our next presenter, I guess while the judges are deliberating on that, since ANDiDREW is not here in person, any questions to them can be directed by email or in the chat, and we'll forward it to them. Now, before the next pitch, we are delighted to have with us Parth Mehta, who was the winner of the TiE New Jersey 2019 pitch competition. And he's here with us today, and we thought Parth could share his experience with the program and what it was like to represent New Jersey at the TiE Global. So TiE, Parth, over to you, if you can hear this.
Yeah, I can.
Great.
So thank you guys for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here back home. Like my whole journey started from TiE when I was a university student. So I've been in your seat recently. So I know exactly how you guys are thinking and the questions you may have for the event. So I'll just give a brief introduction. I'm Parth. I'm the founder of Startup Tribes, and we build innovation and workforce economic ecosystems at a regional level. So essentially what we do is that for organizations like TiE, our platform provides a central ecosystem or a hub for innovators and entrepreneurs to find everything that they need, from workshops, resources, discount services, tools, mentoring. If you want to find a co-founder, or if you want to get a job in a startup, and investor relationships and discussions that you want to ask other founders or startups from. And we connect different types of ecosystems by having like multi-stakeholder and multi-sector organizations. So VC firms and TiE organization, then universities, all of them can be combined, and then you can have like everything under one roof. So essentially like a one-stop for you. Now, this idea started from my personal experience when I was in New Jersey Institute of Technology. And the first stepping stone I was able to take advantage of was this TiE pitch competition, exactly what you guys are doing today. And I made my way through the TiE New Jersey competition. And as I won, I was able to represent the state in Silicon Valley. And this is pre-COVID, so I had the opportunity to go in person. And that was really life-changing because that's a global pitch competition. So I think it was about 18 different countries the year I was in. And of course, after that, there was about 22 or 25. And these companies are fantastic. Like some are already post-revenue, some are in the idea stage. So all these different phases, it's nothing to be scared about, but you get so much exposure that you try to better yourself out of it. I wasn't able to win the global pitch competition, but luckily I was the only one, if not one of the few, that walked out with interested investors as well as a paying customer. So I had my first paying customer, very high level, hefty check at that point as a first customer. And that was based on just my presentation, where I was standing in the expo with my laptop and just going through the pitch, just like you guys do, and just walking through folks that are interested in person. And that led to more and more business, and overall, like the TiE exposure that I got from day one to all the way the most recent time and ongoing is phenomenal. So I think you guys should take the most of this, but if you don't win this competition, I think you guys should also be interested in attending the Silicon Valley TiECON. If it's in person, I think it's a no-brainer. You guys have to go there. If it's online, try to make it there because it's much more than just the pitch competition. So
Great. Thank you so much, Parth, for sharing that and inspiring these new student entrepreneurs. So our next team is
Arch.
Is Arch. Sorry. So Team Arch, over to you.
Hi, nice to
Good
meet you.
luck.
I'm just gonna share my screen real quick.
So you have 5 minutes and your time starts whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Go for it. Yeah.
Right, I think I'm ready now.
Okay, go ahead.
Arch, empowering people to seek preventative care. My name is Olivia Calavito. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Arch. My teammate is Mariam Mendez, COO and co-founder. Think of the women in your life: your mother, your sister, your daughter, best friend, spouse, and grandma. Would you want them to wear a seatbelt? Nowadays, we wear seatbelts without even thinking. It's second nature. We know the benefits of them, and so we use them. They cannot prevent a car crash, but they can save our lives. 1 in 8 women in the US will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. Men get breast cancer too. About 2,710 will be diagnosed in 2022. Battling breast cancer is a race against time. Mammograms are a crucial screening in which early detection can decrease fatality and suffering dramatically. Like a seatbelt, a mammogram does not prevent a life-threatening event from happening, but it can save your life.
I'm in control now.
There's a 50% decreased fatality rate with consistent mammograms. Additionally, early detection of breast cancer increases survival rates to 93% or higher within the first 5 years of diagnosis. Although breast cancer is the #1 cancer diagnosed in women, 55.6 million women still do not get their yearly mammogram, which is 1 in 3 women. Missed or unscheduled appointments are usually due to stress, anxiety, fear, scheduling issues, misinformation, lack of education, and other factors. Our mission is to encourage people to take action regarding their preventative care options through awareness, education, and personalization. Our solution is Arch, an app that combines personal information, demographics, concerns, and other factors to create a personalized simulation of a mammogram appointment through videos and modules. We believe that people should be aware of their preventative care through being knowledgeable and prepared, decreasing anxiety and misinformation. Our app will also include scheduling and push notification features to keep track of upcoming mammogram appointments. We will also give patients access to local mammogram clinics, correlating with their insurance type, allowing them to connect with other users and rate their past experiences. Our target market is all women 18+, all women and men with family history, doctors who can recommend our app to patients, and educators of breast health. Our revenue streams will come from doctor and hospital partnerships, advertising, and upgrades within the app because we want the baseline to be free to anyone on various app stores. So right now we are focusing on breast health preventative care through mammograms. However, we know that Arch can be applicable to many other areas of preventative care, such as gynecology, gastroenterology, imaging, urology, etc. So Arch's main competitors are My Waiting Room and My Chart, which are educational apps and medical health record holders. However, Arch will combine the assets of these apps to create a transformative approach to preventative care. Our advisory board is made of Dr. Yashika Shah, an OBGYN, as well as Mukesh Patel and Christy Fall, our faculty advisors. Arch, empowering people to seek preventative care.
Great. Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you.
Great presentation. We have a couple of minutes for Q&A from the judges.
Hi, Olivia. This is Suresh Kumar. Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
I had a question with respect to actually changing behavior. I had an instance where one of a good close friend of ours was diagnosed, but she did it once in 3 years. She just got lucky that it was discovered early on.
Yes.
And when I asked around a few friends, none of them are doing it every year. Most people are doing it like every few years. And so the question becomes, how do you make sure that the behavior changes and it becomes something that they do as a normal routine every year?
So right now, our main idea is like the push notifications and reminders for people to keep getting their mammograms. However, we haven't necessarily researched into how we're going to keep track of the behavior changes and necessarily know if they were going to their mammogram appointments. But we're definitely looking into features on the app that remind them consistently to go.
Certainly. So I would recommend, notifications are good, but if there is some kind of maybe some reward system that will encourage them to actually take that action, and then in some way report back to in the app that they have done X, for which then they will get some kind of a reward that is meaningful for them. So just think about the actual change of behavior more than a notification.
Okay, thank you so much.
Great. Good job.
Olivia, good presentation.
Thank you.
Important topic. I saw you primarily targeting the scheduling process more.
Yes.
One of the other important factor in this process is how they get inspired or learn from the experience of somebody who's been through that trauma and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Is there, as part of growth, part of the solution, does building a community around it is part of it, or how do you foresee the product really evolving?
So I think, do you mean like how we'll get the word out to people and create a community of people who want to learn?
Even if somebody is new who want to start monitoring their health,
okay,
they may see some symptom, but then they would be more helped or supported if they hear other people's story, how they went through the process.
Okay. Yeah, so on the app, we were thinking of having people input their medical information, concerns, like if they're nervous about going to the appointment, nervous about what the results would be, and then basically have like a simulated like video or module of what their experience will look like, and pop up information about what they specifically clicked in their survey input will come up on the simulation. Additionally, in the app, we hope to have a community like based approach where users can reach out to each other and support each other. So let's say you don't want to go alone to your mammogram appointment. You want to find someone else who's also looking to go with you, someone who has the same concerns. Maybe they also have family history. You can reach out to other users on the app to actually go. Does that answer your question?
It does help. And I would also make sure that you do understand HIPAA regulations.
Yes. Okay.
Because a lot of this information you are not supposed to share amongst the participants. So you can bring the good stories and you can share the advice, but exchanging of information has a lot of regulation in the US area.
Thank you.
So we have time for just another
maybe
question.
Can I step in for a question?
Yes,
Jyoti,
absolutely.
yeah, please, Nitin, go ahead.
Hi, Olivia. That was a wonderful pitch. I really loved the way that you presented, your expansion plans and your other ideas in the future. I'm just curious, how would people find out about the app? What would it, do you see a role for a existing doctor or a medical professional to maybe recommend the app to future users or, patients who are having potential surgeries or could be targets and stuff? So just trying to understand, is there what's the referral or how do people get to know about the app?
Okay, yeah. So we are hoping to reach out to other like breast health organizations, breast cancer awareness organizations, different doctors, so that like after research and stuff, we can have them recommend it to their patients. I know that like my faculty advisor, after more research is done, I think that she would recommend to her patients. And we also, so that would correlate with our revenue streams, we want to see how many users from that we are encouraging to go to a specific clinic, things like that. Does that make sense? Okay.
Great, thank you. So do we move on to the next team?
Yes, we're ready.
Team KUSHI is the next team, and I think they also have a video which we'll be playing shortly because they couldn't be here in person. So go ahead, Neetu. Before that, I just wanted to also quickly point out, I guess, before you play that, there's a link in the chat. I forgot to mention that we have an Audience Choice Award. The link is in the chat window. We'll encourage the audience to, vote on the startup that they like, and then we would have an award for the audience choice at the end. Go ahead, Mehta.
Themselves for a year and a half. And unfortunately, loneliness can lead to the.
Let me start again.
Could you make it full screen?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This time starts now.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ilan Boyarsky. I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you so much for accommodating me. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited to be here today and present to you KUSHI, the easy-to-use app that combats loneliness on campus, one meal at a time. Loneliness on campuses has skyrocketed. In fact, a study done by the American College Health Association in 2017 found that over 64% of college students have felt lonely during their college experience. This means that roughly every 2 out of 3 people feel lonely. This number is probably even higher now due to the effects of COVID and everyone isolating themselves for a year and a half. And unfortunately, loneliness can lead to depression, anxiety, poor heart health, poor studies, and even death, like suicide. And a bigger problem, not a bigger problem, but another problem that adds to this is the fact that too many people are sitting by themselves. So what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to fix all these problems? Well, according to Psychology Today, a very reputable psychology site, engaging in face-to-face social interactions with people can improve mood. In fact, it doesn't even matter if you know that person. Speaking to strangers has the same effect. And students need friends. And so we're going to help them find that through our easy-to-use service. Additionally, everyone needs to eat, right? Like you have to eat. And what better way to combat loneliness and find friends than through a meal? Introducing KUSHI. We are an easy-to-use app that combats loneliness on campuses by connecting college students together for meals. So how does it work? How do we do this? So we connect people based on common interests, and we also optimize a user's location for the best possible results and the best possible person or people that they want to talk with and have a meal with. We also value safety of our users, and so we've added multiple features such as a reporting feature, the option to have a group of 3 or more if you're not comfortable having that one-on-one conversation. And we also allow the person to send their location to a trusted friend or family member during the meal. The wrong way. So we have a little quick video demonstration. I'm not going to go through it all because it's pretty long and I only have 5 minutes, but I'm going to send the recording out, the slides out so you can view later. I don't know why it's only 2 seconds. There might be a problem with it, but it's fine. Moving on. So I got this idea after sitting by myself too many times. And so we launched an MVP in January 2022, and we're expected to launch in fall of 2022. And so the reason why this timing is now is because post-COVID, people are still trying to get out of their little shells and trying to get back into the real world, make friends. People have lost the ability to make friends, honestly. With that, mental health issues are on the rise. And we have an opportunity to really help and change people's lives. Our target market is college students that struggle with loneliness but want to meet people, want to get out there again. But we also want to target in the future professionals, like in the city, they want to meet up for a cup of coffee or a lunch with somebody else in a different company. Also senior citizens, they're very lonely as well. So there's lots of potential with the technology behind the app. So our market size is about 20 million. According to best colleges, that's the number of students in the United States right now. The serviceable market is about 2/3 of that, about 13 million. And we want to get 1 million users by the first 3 years. We have current competition with Grow With Us is our biggest one, but we believe that we have a better platform, like according to the comparisons on the chart. We help people make friends. We target college kids. The app is on both iPhone and Android. We help local restaurants, and we're super safe. So how are we going to make money? Great question. So we're going to have in-app purchases, which is very common with free-to-use apps. We're also going to have coupons that we're going to partner with local restaurants. And we're also going to license the technology to other companies. Actually, two companies have reached out to me with interest in licensing the technology. The team consists of me and my dad so far, but we are looking for a third member, the chief marketing officer, because we believe that marketing will be our biggest hurdle. Our advisory board consists of Christy Fall and Mukesh Patel, which they've been very, very helpful in my journey so far. We're also looking for a user interface and user experience expert and a mental health expert. And looking forward, we want to test the concept with the MVP that we have. We want to acquire customers through a survey. We're going to market to college students at Rutgers or any other college, doesn't really matter. But it's going to be a pilot program, and then we're going to officially launch in fall 2022. So thank you so much for your time and for listening. I am looking forward to answering any questions that you have. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Team KUSHI. They're not here right now, so any questions from the judges, please direct them via the chat or by email. On to the next team, which is Filia Health Records. Over to you, Team Filia.
Hello, I'll share my screen.
Good morning, everybody.
So my name is Isha.
My name is Isaiah Negron.
And we're Filia Health Records. Helpless. This is how millions of Americans reported feeling as their family and friends around the world suffered from the COVID crisis. It's also how my father and I felt as we watched my great aunt in India fall ill to lung cancer, unable to effectively communicate with her caretakers. This uncovered an important issue. Americans are unable to monitor the health of their loved ones living abroad.
Even within the United States, it can take anywhere from 10 to 14 days to access medical requests. But with Filia, family members can monitor the health of loved ones overseas with a timely and quickly and simple manner.
Currently, there are over 44.9 million US residents with family abroad, and Indo-Americans represent the second fastest growing immigrant population, with over 4 million presently residing in the United States. So we're first going to be focusing on connecting this demographic with their family in India, starting with the significant proportion of 800,000 Indo-Americans in New Jersey. And we're already connecting with local prominent figures in healthcare who see the value in our work.
With our platform, conscious individuals would have the ability to upload their own information, such as blood pressure, pain level, doctor's notes, or any other information, as well as in their respective language. The information will then be organized and translated into graphs so that individuals could look back at progress and see how they're doing.
Filia can also help Indo-Americans with unconscious hospitalized relatives. Healthcare workers can easily upload information about the patient's diagnostics, prescriptions, treatments, test results, caretakers, and current health status using a simple health ID code that automatically connects to the loved one's manually approved Filia app account. and loved ones can easily navigate through this information, being able to see the patient's daily schedule of medications, treatments, and tests, as well as having access to the caretaker's contact information. And they'll also receive notifications whenever new information is uploaded and reminders when the patient needs to take their medication or has an upcoming treatment test or appointment.
As for our sources of revenue, that will be coming from two sources. One will be from family members and loved ones who will pay on a freemium subscription basis that allow consumers to connect with patients and family members. The other one will be from hospitals who will pay to integrate our software within their organization based on how many patients they have and the length of hospitalization. Right now, the Indian government has strongly encouraged the transition from paper-based to electronic-based medical records, and we feel that we can help with this process and speed up.
So as you can see, great monetary growth is imminent as the Indian immigrant population grows and knowledge of the value of our comprehensive services spreads throughout and beyond New Jersey.
Filia not only provides timely updates like other current solutions, but will also offer a platform that is secure, simple, and accommodates multiple languages, as well as being able to go onto the global scale.
So once we pilot our program with a transnational family and hospital in India, we'll spread to healthcare facilities throughout the country and integrate with existing and developing electronic health record systems. But our ultimate goal is to scale our product globally so we can reach hospitals and families throughout the world.
And with our diverse team and skilled advisory board,
we can do exactly that. Filia Health Records.
Families interconnected.
Locally.
Internationally.
Always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Team Filia. Great presentation. We have a couple of minutes for the Q&A. I request the teams to just keep your answers as brief as possible. All right, thank you. Judges, any questions for this team?
Isha and Filia team, you folks identify one of the fastest growing market in this area. Recently, we did invest in a company called Emoha, which target this space. One of the challenge or these kind of activities come is, how do you manage the infrastructure in India and still market in the USA or for any country that way? As you are looking at the execution path, how do you foresee that infrastructure enablement as part of your process?
Yeah, so our pilot hospital is most likely going to be in Tamil Nadu because they have what's called a statewide area network connectivity. It's basically an IT infrastructure and used by a lot of government hospitals there. I believe it's been instituted in about 2,000 primary care hospitals. So they obviously have the infrastructure to incorporate a transition to electronic health records, but right now it's only being used for hospital administration purposes. So that's probably where we're going to start, since they already have the infrastructure in their system.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Isha and Isa, good presentation. So who is going to be your target right now? Because you are starting with a hospital in Tamil Nadu. So what kind of community you're targeting and how are you going to go about doing it?
Yeah, so for our connections in the United States, we're going to be targeting Indo-Americans in New Jersey. Our initial goal is to connect at least 1,000 Indo-Americans in the New Jersey area. But in terms of the hospitals, we're probably going to start with suburban or urban hospitals that have the resources to transition to electronic health records. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Any other questions for the team? Otherwise, we could just give a minute for the judges and then we can go to the next team.
Sure, if anybody from the audience wants to ask a question, we have 2 minutes to spare. So please go ahead.
You could just post it in the chat,
Post them as well.
or you could just speak. And while we're waiting for that, reminder to the audience to click on the link in the chat window to vote for your favorite startup. Would you invest in this venture? You have $1,000. Would you invest? How much of that would you invest in the venture? Based on the total amount that the audience would invest in each venture, we would rank the startups, and the one which has the most investment would be the winner of the Audience Choice Award. Okay, it looks like
we have 2 minutes for the next pitch. If give the judges a few minutes.
Yeah, judges.
Hassan, you can start sharing your screen. It's 1 minute to begin.
Okay.
So the next team is Gum and Gums. Hassan, go ahead.
Can you guys see my screen?
Okay, are we ready to start or?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Esteemed judges, glad to be at TiE. My name is Hassan Kashif and I'm the founder of Gum and Gums. Gum and Gums is a sustainable oral hygiene brand which has innovated an autonomous flossing device. Did you know the World Health Organization estimates that over 2.3 billion people worldwide suffer from dental diseases, many that could have been prevented with habitual dental hygiene? Last year, the CDC reported 80% of Americans suffered from gum diseases, which led 1 in 4 people who died due to heart disease. As reported by the ADA, for every 100,000 people per capita, only 61 dentists are available to help them. Access to oral care is a global crisis as those numbers only get worse. Did you know for a soaring population of 7.5 billion people, there are only 1.5 million dentists? According to some of the top industry reports, the US dental floss market alone is worth 750 million, while the global market is expected to grow up to 4.9 billion by 2025 with a positive CGR of 5.5%. Gum and Gums is meant to be an oral hygiene company whose worth is 35 billion. Even personal care brands, Point and Case, Sephora, are also carrying oral hygiene products, in particular dental floss, which is worth 44.5 billion. In addition, through customer discovery, we address an entirely new category of users, what we call limited access users, those who have traditionally avoided flossing due to sensory, mobility, disability, or cognitive reasons, which include senior citizens, neurodivergent individuals, amputees, and folks with special needs. Dr. Floss is an all-at-once flossing device, which you can simply pop in and out of your mouth. Dr. Floss is the world's first one-size-fits-all solution. The ergonomic design allows it to fit any mouth shape and size with flexibility. Dr. Floss is made up of 2 parts, a reusable base and a set of disposable flossing threads, which hooks on and off easily. Unlike the rest of the industry who uses cheap and toxic plastic, Dr. Floss will be made with biodegradable material and eco-friendly packaging so that we can move the industry to a sustainable future. Our business model consists of D2C and B2B. Currently on the D2C, we plan on selling a pack of 60 units for $25 with a subscription model. B2B will consist of selling it to dentist clinic networks, dental schools, and senior care facilities. Currently on the market, there are two categories of flossing. In the economical category, which consists of low-tech products, as reported by a Harvard study, they contain toxic chemicals which make gum sensitive and put consumers at risk for cross-contamination. On the other hand, high-tech products are only expensive, but are only made for extreme diabetic patients and in fact not even approved by dentists. While most people don't bother flossing due to time and effort required, the rare ones who do end up being counterproductive because they end up damaging their gums with incorrect techniques. Dr. Floss was sought to create all of these problems by occupying a unique middle ground by being a high-tech, low-cost product that combines efficiency and effectiveness. We cater to low-tech users who want a more effective tool and to high-tech users who want a faster method of flossing. Currently, we hold a manufactured product. We hold a provisional patent. Some of the top dental schools like Columbia, Rutgers, NYU have agreed to publish white papers. Interest from the industry has also been shown, as I was fortunate enough to speak with the president of Henry Schein, Mr. Steve Kess, and their head dentist, Dr. Bruce. Those who don't know, Henry Schein is a global distributor of healthcare products. Since they closely work with industry giants like Colgate, talks are also being held. One of our near-term future goals is to obtain a FDA ADA approval for consumer satisfaction, even though this is a class 1 medical device, which means it does not require any regulation. Furthermore, we plan on partnering with Santa Fe, which is a non-subsidiary non-profit group for Henry Schein, for charitable donations, as Dr. Floss wants to give back to the communities. Our innovation has also received a monetary recognition by winning several pitch competitions. And as a senior majoring in biology, I have a board of advisors, which include a specialty dentist and a serial entrepreneur and VC investor. On the R&D side, I have led with some of the top global product design firms, from consulting to end-to-end development. Thank you for your time, and I would like to open the floor for any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Hassan. And we have a couple of minutes to Q&A.
Thank you. Hassan, what is the pricing model you're planning to keep?
Yes, so we're selling a pack of 60, which is 1 month supply, for $25 at the moment. And as we grow, it can get a more economical as well.
Good.
Hassan, your presentation was wonderful, and I think your product looks very evolved. And how long have you been at it?
Yes, so we started in 2020.
So what kind of gave you the idea to kind of get into this?
I was on the pre-dental track, as a biology major. So I was working in different dental clinics and I was shadowing dentists. And honestly, I had a traumatic incident as I was on my hygienist chair, and she knew me because I used to work there. And she started yelling at me. She's like, you wanted to go to dental school, but you don't know how to floss, because I had some cavities. So, and then, so I started looking for, solutions in the market, and there were none. And all the patients I saw in clinics, they had the same problem. Annually, 64 million Americans suffer from periodontitis and gingivitis. These diseases are specifically because people do not floss. You can yell at them, you can, they're willing to spend money, but they're not willing to floss. Why? Because because it starts from childhood. If you cannot build a habit from early childhood, you won't do it for the rest of your life. So I'm a consumer of my problem for my product.
Wonderful. If one was to want to try this, how do you do that?
Absolutely. So let me show you. So for example, I don't know if you can see the screen. So this is the product. So basically all you do is basically bite on it and it flosses all of your teeth simultaneously. And so this is one of our someone who tried, and we took a picture just to show you guys that all of the threads go in all of the spaces. So you're done in a matter of seconds.
Son, what is the how do you maintain hygiene of this product? Is that just regular washing, or is there any solution involved?
Yes. So let me show you. So there's two parts. There is the disposable flossing threads, the top part, and then this is a reusable silicone base. So this is like so you can just simply wash it with water, and you can replace this after a use. That's all.
Great. And could you give us an idea of what is the unit cost of manufacturing this?
Yes. So unit cost would be around 70 cents.
Okay. And what would you intend to sell it for as an estimate?
So we plan on selling this as 60 units. So you would purchase one of these, and then 60 of these as a 1 month subscription order.
Got it.
What's the youngest age that somebody can start this with?
Yes. So okay, great question. So basically we would have three sizes: a small, medium, large, according to your ages, and you can start as little as 5 years old. So basically, if you're in elementary school, we also, besides just we're not just a medical device company, we also want to work on the education and awareness side of it, and I think that's where the elementary schools come in. We go there and then we educate these kids how they can do it, and parents, they're going to play a big role in that, because at that age they have their milk teeth.
Hasan, this is a very nice presentation and nice idea. One quick question that I had is, I understand you have had 3 sizes: small, medium, and large. Most of the people from 12 plus tend to have a lot of bridges and in their mouth. How do you take care of that issue with this?
Yes, great question. So so this product, if you have for example bridges, or if you have like some dental work you have done, you can simply just take out the threads. It's as simple as that. So if if in a certain area, you can just take out the threads and the rest can be used.
Okay, very thoughtful. Thanks.
The judges can take a few minutes to score.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hassan. Great presentation.
Glad to be back.
So we have a few minutes, couple of minutes for the judges, and then we have a 10-minute tea/coffee break. And then we'll resume at 11:20.
Arun, I'll just use the time to just play a video.
Yeah, I actually also had a video, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
yeah, please.
Is that the TiE video? Are you playing that, or
TiE,
should I?
yeah.
Okay, I think it's the same one. We can.
The TiE history, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The year is 1992. Most people carried pagers, and few privileged ones had email, and that was in Silicon Valley. On November 14th, 20 successful Indo-American executives were waiting to meet Mr. N. Vital, Secretary of Electronics, to talk about liberalization in India, but his flight was delayed.
We had to find a way to keep everyone engaged over lunch, so we chose to share our life stories.
At that time, we had no organized way for Indo-Americans to network. So when I proposed getting together, guys, why don't we do this on a regular basis, once a month? And everybody wholeheartedly agreed. So a group of us got together on December 22nd, 1992 at the San Jose Hilton to form an entrepreneurs club. This was the genesis of TiE.
By March 1993, a group of 7 individuals created an organization to facilitate networking. This team of 7 became the founding team of the Indus Entrepreneurs.
We called it Indus to be inclusive of all of the Indian subcontinent. We made US uppercase since we all live here in the United States. And when Ray Radula shortened the name to TiE, everybody just loved it.
Roy Prasad came up with a logo which he thought was sloppy. We can't believe this logo lasted 25 years.
The team arranged monthly networking meetings that featured prominent speakers. By mid-1993, the third Tuesday of every month became TiE Dinner Day amongst a fast-growing circle of entrepreneurs.
AJ Patel led the efforts, and for 2 years, he ran TiE as a DBA under his name. AJ also shared the facilities and resources of his company for TiE operations.
In August 1993, the founding team invited Suhas Patel to join the team and elected him as the first president of TiE.
The energy of the team and the idea of giving back really got me excited.
Then in March 1994, TiE held a 2-day entrepreneurs workshop at the San Jose Fairmont. It was a bold move with no certainty as to whether such an event would be successful.
We planned for 300 people, and over 500 showed up. Many volunteers made this possible. Praveen Gupta renamed the conference to TiECON, a name that still lives on.
Volunteers are the backbone of TiE, and these volunteers become part of TiE family.
In August 1994, 27 people signed on as the founding charter members of TiE.
Charter members are successful entrepreneurs committed to mentoring the next generation of aspiring entrepreneurs. Kanwal Rekhi is one of the most visible and influential charter member.
In September 1994, TiE was formally incorporated as a not-for-profit organization. Fast forward to 1996, and Kanwal Rekhi became the second president of TiE.
We at TiE believe that wealth creation through entrepreneurship is a noble activity. This is the message we want to deliver to the whole world.
Our vision was always to make TiE a global organization. That vision started taking shape in 1997 when TiE started expanding beyond Silicon Valley to Southern California and Boston.
Being entrepreneurial is one of the most fulfilling ways to lead a life. And the most successful and a powerful platform to promote entrepreneurship is TiE.
By 1998, TiE had decided to engage with policymakers in India. We held a seminar in New Delhi that led to the formation of 3 chapters in India.
We helped in the setup and growth of the TiE chapters in India and also deeply engaged with government, helping enable policies that have successfully created an extremely vibrant, successful entrepreneurial ecosystem today.
Based on a model outlined by the late C.K. Prahlad in the House of TiE, TiE Global was created in 2000.
TiE Silicon Valley became a bridge to success for entrepreneurs worldwide. We also organized the first ever TiE Global Summit in Delhi.
In 25 years, TiE has inspired entrepreneurs to create hundreds of startups that led to thousands of new jobs and estimated to have created 200 billion in new wealth.
Going forward, we need to establish the brand TiE with the youth, starting from schools to colleges to startups with a special emphasis on women entrepreneurship. With our established program like TiECON, we want to make TiE University and TiE Women even stronger. The TiE Angels program in the US and now in India has already made TiE the go-to organization for startups. We also want to expand our work with governments across the world to make policy more conducive for cross-border investments.
Much has changed since 1992, but from pagers to smartphones, TiE's mission has stood the test of time. TiE continues to march as a vibrant, forward-looking entity that strives to add value to entrepreneurs worldwide.
Okay, we have just a few more minutes before we have the next team presenting. The next team is Invictus BCI. Are you guys ready?
Yes, let me share my screen.
All right, just in a couple of minutes. So by the way, while we're waiting, I just thought I'll mention that there's some great prizes today. In addition to the winning team representing TiE New Jersey at the global finals, the winning team is going to get $2,000. The second team will get $1,250. The third team will get $750. We have two other awards: the Audience Choice Award and the Best Live Pitch. And at the TiE Global, the top award is $50,000. And there is a lot of other benefits as well, including credits to Amazon Web Services and a lot of other great stuff. I also encourage all the entrepreneurs to reach out to our charter members and others in the network and the ecosystem to be mentored and take full advantage of the TiE ecosystem. And of course, also the audience, please vote on the Audience Choice Award. I think Neetu just posted the link again to the poll. Okay, with that, Invictus BCI, you're on. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Vinny, and I'm the CEO of Invictus BCI. 2 years ago, a family member got very sick. It got so bad that doctors had to amputate her hand so she could live. After the amputation, I thought once she got a prosthetic, everything would be fine. Oh, sorry, my video's not on. Sorry. Hi. After I thought that once she got a prosthetic, everything would be fine, but it wasn't. In fact, even after getting a premium state-of-the-art prosthetic hand, she found herself struggling with simple, mundane tasks. This story is not unique to my family. It's a story shared by hundreds of thousands of people. Unfortunately, today in the United States, there are 500,000 upper limb amputees, and every day, 72 people lose a hand in the United States alone. And despite the ever-growing need, today's prosthetics are simply inadequate. The problem with prosthetic hands is not in the mechanics of the prosthetic, but in the system that controls the prosthetic, the control interface. Through our extensive customer research, where we spoke to over 180 amputees, clinicians, and prosthetic manufacturers, we learned some disappointing news. Today's prosthetics are capable of only a few basic grasps, so you can't control your fingers individually. They're unintuitive to use and have unreliable performance. Sometimes they'll just stop working because of external conditions. Almost 60% of upper limb amputees just give up on using their prosthetic altogether. Not only can this lead to further health problems, but this decreases their quality of life. People need a better solution, and this is where Invictus BCI comes in. Rather than trying to do a better version of what everyone else has been doing, we decided to step outside the box and explore new cutting-edge tech. We're making a new type of control interface, a brain control interface that will enable amputees to intuitively control individual fingers on their prosthetic hand. Here's how it works. Our custom hardware non-invasively collects brain signals and muscle signals that are decoded by a proprietary algorithm in real time. These movements are then performed by the prosthetic hand. So whereas current control systems are frustrating for amputees to use as they're unintuitive, capable of only a few basic grasps and sensitive to external conditions, our BCI is intuitive. We leverage hybrid neural signals for the most intuitive experience possible. And our system is agnostic and compatible with the majority of bionic hand prosthetics out there. But most exciting of all, we go beyond grasps to individual finger control. Here you can see our demo in action, where we're getting almost 100% accuracy, 99.98 to be exact, with a 25 millisecond latency that is near instantaneous. Most exciting of all is that our cost is less than 90% of the commercial EMG systems out there, and it's all completely non-invasive. We have a patent pending on our unique sleeve design and custom signal acquisition system. And we are proud to share that Invictus BCI has won several awards, and extremely excited to announce that we'll be collaborating with the VA and doing clinical and user testing this summer on our BCI. There are two phases to our market entry. In our first phase, we focus on our first product, our neuroprosthetic control interface. However, our core technology is gesture decoding, and this is a market that is currently $13 billion and will expand to $37.6 billion by 2026, with applications in many other areas like rehabilitation, assisted living, and even mental health. Here's a highlight of our financial projections. We will break even by year 2, 2024, and maintain healthy margins of 60% by 2026. We have already done extensive customer interviews and validated our proof of concept. We've gone through 3 iterations of our custom hardware and can now decode individual finger movement, as you saw, which is beyond what any prosthetic on the market today is capable of. We have a patent pending, and in 2023, we will do our project launch. 2024 is when things get really exciting, because that's when we'll be scaling up to go after that $37 billion opportunity. We are an extremely motivated team with complementary skills. My brother and I are determined to make this a success. I have 4 years of research experience in neuroengineering, and Ishan is a hands-on hacker with proven skills in robotics, IoT, and design. We are extremely fortunate to have experienced mentors and diverse skills from both technical and entrepreneurial background. Thank you so much for listening. Invictus BCI has the potential to change the lives of millions of people. Please lend us your support on this journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Invictus. A great presentation. Judges, questions for them?
Hi, Vinny. I absolutely love the idea, because I think 15 years back, I did research on the same thing. And I would like to understand, how are you collecting the signals?
That's a great question. Let me escape and share again. There we go. So we have developed our own custom hardware that enables us to collect this. So here you can actually see a prototype of our high density sleeve design. This is what is worn on the arm. And on the head is basically similar to a headband. It goes across the motor cortex and collects the necessary information there. And it's all completely non-invasive. So these two stream the information down to where we have our algorithm, which decodes it in real time.
Interesting, thanks.
Any of the other judges? Otherwise, we have Team Konfide up next. We give the judges a couple of minutes.
I just had a quick follow-up question. Excellent presentation and great market. I see a lot of use right now with this whole Ukraine situation going on. Obviously, that is a huge market for a product like this, and also from a social perspective. My question was about what is the strategy on approaching VA? Have you already initiated it? Or?
Oh yes, we were selected to collaborate with them. So with the VA, we have it's got actually delayed because of COVID earlier, which is why it's being pushed to the summer. But we were selected by the VA to do this collaboration. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I just wanted to find out that you already made that, because
yes.
that is a really great connection. If you can get that up and running, that'll be great.
Yes, thank you. We are so excited they will be doing both clinical and user testing with them. So not only will we be getting feedback, but actual evaluations from the clinicians, which is really exciting.
All right. Are you based out of Princeton?
No. So we have it's a little, because of the pandemic, everyone's gotten a little distributed, but we are working in both New Jersey and New York, and we have some people in Boston as well.
No, I was referring to the university that you're affiliated with. Which one is that?
Suresh, I think we're not allowed to reveal the affiliation.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's okay. Thank you.
Vinny, this is Yadu. Could I just alert you to the fact that the Invictus brand is owned by the Duke of Sussex? So just be aware when you start marketing and scaling up.
Oh, that's interesting. And we had seen that there were different types of like other companies that also did share the name Invictus, but when we had done the incorporation, it seemed that as long as it's not just simply Invictus, but Invictus BCI incorporated, there won't be any issue. But thank you for letting me know. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
You can always ask him for the money that his family took away from India. So say, please give that to us.
That would be with that, like I could go straight to like $1 trillion evaluation, right? With that, I don't think that he has enough to pay for that.
Do note that Ellen Mittal is richer than the House of Phillips. So just be aware of that.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So we will just give the judges a minute or two to do the scoring before the next team, which is team Konfide. Are you guys ready, team?
Yes. They're on standby.
Okay, great. So just be on standby. Once the judges have finished the scoring, you could go on.
Okay, thank you.
Remember to, the audience, please remember to vote for your favorite team.
So it's 11:30, Konfide, you're good to go.
Yeah, your team time starts now.
Thank you. What do you want to do when you grow up? This is a question that everyone has been asked at some point in their lives. The problem is that most people don't have a good answer. 51% of students aren't confident in their careers, and 44% change their minds. Not only does this waste time and tuition, but not knowing what your future will look like is scary. It's hard to justify the work and effort you put in, and it's frustrating to keep pushing towards a goal you don't even know.
In these moments of doubt, it feels like we really need someone to talk to, someone that understands us, that knows our wants and our wishes, someone that listens to us without any judgment or expectations to impose, someone that brings us up, that tells us what we're good at and that this is what we can do, someone that motivates us and pushes us forward and helps plan our next steps to achieve our goals. Now, that's a lot to ask from one person, but that is why we created Konfide. Konfide is an online career advising platform that consists of 3 major steps.
The first step is self-exploration. Instead of taking a bunch of bland, multiple-choice career assessment questions, we provide an open-ended conversational experience that allows students to stop and reflect about themselves. This allows students to provide a full sense of their lives and interests, which will then be sent through a machine learning-powered algorithm, which then will synthesize these students' interests, aptitudes, and needs into 3 career paths.
So after this information is compiled from the algorithm, students will go to step 2, which is career exploration. So students will be able to see general information about a career, such as like salary, job growth, skills, but more importantly, students will be able to see why they would fit into that career and how well they'll fit into the industry.
Once a student is persuaded of a particular career path, they move on to step 3, which is validation. We believe that if you don't try, you'll never know. Here, we show opportunities to experience their careers. And like with school-based programs or internships, we also offer a network of working professionals, and these students can connect with them for quick conversations, and they can gain insights and career advice.
So as you can see here, Konfide will be more accessible, engaging, and personalized than our competition. And in particular, we combine the effectiveness of career advising programs with the accessibility of low pressure environments of online career assessment quizzes.
So Konfide is targeted towards high school upperclassmen, so juniors and seniors, as well as undergraduate freshmen and sophomores. That represents about 9 million uncertain students. At our local New Jersey University alone, that's 8,000 plus students. I don't know what just happened.
Your screen, Neetu, I think.
Sorry. You want to try screen share again?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. There we go.
All right, so to reach this audience, Konfide will rely on social media and word of mouth. And part of the Konfide experience includes sharing a short survey to friends, making the product inherently viral. Once a critical mass has been achieved, we then plan to partner with other universities as an official part of their career advising programs. So then that brings us to monetization. And we believe that this service should be at no cost to students, and instead the site will be monetized through partnerships with other universities.
So today, myself, Crystal Kilfeather, and my partner, Hannah Graham, are representing Konfide. Our team building the site is currently made up of 2 members, Ryan Ma and as CEO, and Leonard Tan as our technical lead. Supporting us is our advisory board made up of Miss Christy Fall and Mr. Mukesh Patel as part of our university's innovation lab, as well as Mr. Ning Wei, a startup founder of a very similar domain.
So with this team, we've made considerable progress since September of 2021 when the idea first sprouted. And since then, we've conducted 25 market research interviews with students and launched our landing page. And just this month, we launched and tested our very first prototype with 20 students, which has enabled us to begin iterating and refining our product. And within the next 3 months, we plan to further expand our team and advisory board so that by the beginning of next semester, we will have a working MVP.
Ultimately, we believe that students shouldn't be stumbling toward their futures in confusion and just hoping for the best. We believe that students shouldn't be looking towards the future with fear and doubt. Instead, they should be looking forward with confidence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Team Konfide, for a great presentation. We have a few minutes for the Q&A from the judges or the audience. If they have questions too, they could paste it in the chat box.
Great job, guys. I just had a quick question regarding how do you take input from employers to make this the pathway from school and college into a working environment?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
How do you incorporate feedback from employers or future companies where the students could be working down the line so that you build a bridge from school and college into the workplace? Or is that outside the scope of what you're thinking right now?
That's currently outside of the scope that we are currently working at right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Crystal and Hannah, the name of your startup, whatever, Konfide, it's a very beautiful name. And the problem that you have stated, I can personally say that it's so true. Every student faces that indecisiveness, what would be his career. Now, is there any market research or a competitor research that you have done? Are there any competitors, similar competitors in the market?
Right. We've mostly been focusing on like school career rising programs because we've seen that sometimes this can lead to distress within the student population when they're trying to switch majors or switch programs of study. And so we've mainly been looking at these programs and seeing where their flaws lie and combining with online more accessible programs such as like just online career assessment quizzes and trying to combine the successes of both these career assessment quizzes and the successes of these career advising programs at schools to merge into something that combats both of the flaws in both of these categories.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Konfide team, good presentation. One thing I just want to understand from your perspective, what is the revenue generation approach you foresee? And considering the segment of student or the people you are bringing on the platform, they are not so much financially healthy to kind of invest in a lot of these things. So what kind of a creative approach will you use for the revenue generation?
I'm sorry, can you repeat what kind of approach?
How will you make money from your initiative so you can sustain your initiative on a longer term?
Right. We're planning to work with universities in terms of monetization and like keeping our program up and running. And then that way we can not only partner with these universities to keep the, I'm sorry, I don't know why that's happening, to keep the program running, but it will also lead to more like networking and sharing of the program, which will continue to push it forward, develop it, and keep it running.
Yeah, the idea is to have the program funded by the universities, like the universities or the schools, they can possibly purchase the program to give to their students for their students to use. So if students aren't financially stable, they can still have access to it through their career services.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, team. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, team Konfide. The next one is
Arun, we have a minute to score. Judges can score for a minute and we can.
I was just saying the next team is Maya Peacock, so let them be on standby. Yeah.
They are here.
We give the judges a couple of minutes, of course.
Sure, thank you. Maya, you want to just share your screen?
Sure thing.
Okay, thank you.
Judges, please let us know when you're finished.
Arunji, we can proceed.
Great. So go ahead, Maya.
Yeah.
Your time starts now. You have 5 minutes.
So wealthy is an important factor in life. In fact, it is quite common to say that it literally makes the world go round. That's why smart companies have made it quite easy and more convenient with Keurig machines and K-cups for the 33% of families who have a single cup brewer in their house to make their cup of joe in the morning, or perhaps their lifeline in the morning. So, but do you know what the issue is behind these life-saving K-cups are? It's that they're not recyclable. K-cups need to be broken up into 3 parts in order to be recycled, and no one is going to do that because it's not convenient, and it's easier just to throw it out and continue drinking their morning coffee. Because of that, enough K-cups were found in landfills to circle the planet more than 12 times. My team just couldn't let that slide, so we brainstormed on how we could solve this issue. We settled on grinds to grill. If you could see me, got this little thing here. So as our work staff is based solely on volunteerism, we have a team of students who collect the used K-cup pods across campus every week, and another team that breaks them down by recycling and manufacturing our charcoal briquettes. We receive the majority of our inputs for free from the college campus, and the remainder of our supplies needed to create briquettes are The remainder of the supplies needed to create our briquettes are purchased for minimal cost, as there are minimal ingredients needed to create them. Grinds to Grill seeks to be an environmentally friendly nonprofit which creates barbecue charcoal briquettes out of recycled materials. We take what would otherwise sit in a landfill for 70 to 80 years and upcycle it into useful products for people to use in our community who are fond of enjoying the outdoors in our environmentally friendly way. Grinds to Grill, in the end, we actually fix a secondary problem, as ordinary charcoal briquettes that are currently in the market tend to come in large quantities, so they're heavy and difficult to transport. They're messy, it can cause stains on your clothes and in your car, which super duper sucks. But worst of all, the burning of the ordinary charcoal briquettes creates chemical-like odor and releases harmful pollutants into the air in the form of hefty greenhouse gases. Grinds to Grill is nothing like that, because when they come in smaller packaging, so they're easier to transport, and they don't cause a mess or stain, and they reduce greenhouse gas emissions by avoiding the heavy carbon footprint created by coal and imported wood logs. So our next step is selling and marketing. We're currently looking at local farmers markets and campgrounds in order to sell our homemade products, We actually already have an official UPC barcode for our product. However, in order to be successful, we need a more appealing design to our packaging so we can sell the product to the public. We need a bag that's able to tell the story of this amazing project to further scale operations to allow us to manufacture more briquettes faster and more efficiently. But more importantly, we're seeking mentorship to help scale our profitable and environmentally friendly idea, because with your help, the sky's the limit with this product, and we could save millions to billions of K-cups waste and harmful gases from ending up in landfills and entering our fragile atmosphere. We could save a lot by just being smart about what happens after we drink our cup of coffee in the morning. Thank you.
Okay, great. That was a great presentation, right on time, Maya. Thank you. We have a few minutes for questions, comments, feedback from the judges.
Thank you, Maya. One thing I noticed in your business plan, that the amount of money you were expecting to make this thing happen was pretty low. So wondering all that, how will you sustain your business financially if some committed resources need to be assigned to that?
So we determined that it takes approximately $2 to make a single bag of our briquettes. So we decided that we'd like to sell them for approximately $5 to gain a profit.
Would you like to rephrase, or like you share with the group right now, what is your expected raise and the volume in the initial couple of years?
So I think we had something like, since the briquette market or the charcoal market is, how do I phrase this? Thank you for bringing this up. So in New Jersey, there's about 300 parks equipped with briquette barbecue grills and about 6.5 million visitors per year. So just to tap into 1% of those people would make us extremely profitable, because we'll just be able to make money as we come in. But throughout the years, we'll just be able to gain money because it technically costs us nothing just to get our grinds to come in.
Okay, thank you.
Maya, I love the idea. I had a question as to what happens to the K-cups itself, the plastic piece of it.
We end up recycling them, because after we get rid of the grinds that are on the inside, we can recycle them properly.
All right, great. Thank you.
Anybody else? Jyoti or Nitin? Team KEYE, are you on standby for your, you're on next?
Yep, we're good to go.
Okay, great. We'll just give a couple of minutes to the judges. We're right on time. It's amazing. Very impressive. I guess.
Thank you for keeping the schedule on everything on schedule, Arun.
It's the entrepreneurs. And while we're waiting, the audience, please do vote for your favorite teams. The link is in the chat.
Neetu, yeah, thank you.
Yes, Rohan.
No, just trying to see if Paulo was also, but now you made Paulo a co-host also. Paulo is going to be presenting.
Sure.
Thank you.
The judges, whenever you're done, let us know. We could get the next team on.
We are good to move on.
Jyoti, good?
Yeah, good.
Great, Suresh.
Good call.
All right, great. Go for it, guys. Your time starts now.
All right, so hopefully everyone can see this. My name's Paulo. My co-founder Rohan is on the call as well, and we are KEYE. KEYE is here to solve the problem of subscription fatigue and unlock access to the best content on the internet for everyone. So the other day I was reading this article in the New York Times about COVID restrictions winding down in New Jersey. I'm really curious about this. So I start scrolling down, the screen starts fading to black, and of course I get hit with the dreaded paywall. You know, I think we've all been through this highly kind of frictioned experience online. We really need this information, but this paywall kind of gets in the way. Similarly, on streaming services, I'm sure we've all had that movie or TV show recommended to us. But if you're not subscribed to the service, it's kind of a really cumbersome sign-up process. And even if you want to do a free trial, you then have to put in your credit card information. You'll probably forget to cancel it a week later and get hit with those charges. So we do see this playing out kind of both for users as well as for publishers. And we see with Netflix, for example, they had to raise their monthly subscription price because they saw subscriber growth slowing down because there's kind of friction and just growth maxing out. So I'll let Rohan take it forward from here.
Yeah, and we realized that we're not the only ones. When we did our surveys back in June and November, we realized almost 75% of the people don't want to sign up for products because of the issues in signing up. Almost 78% will avoid putting their payment information. 80% are ready to even switch to a lesser known product if they wanted to. So we realized that this is not only a pain point for us, it's a pain point for almost all the users as well as vendors who don't end up monetizing this segment. Next slide, please. And then we saw that during in our school things also, people keep on asking for passwords. People keep on like, can I borrow a password? I'm like, we want to put an end to this embarrassment completely. And that's why we have KEYE. And that's why it's like one single subscription, no more paywalls, and then publishers also make money. So we're working both on users and publishers. Next one, please. Like I said, we want to be the class pass of online and digital services, but a better one, because we have unlimited capacity over here. We want to empower people by giving them on-demand access to technologies, improving their lives with the best possible value possible. Next slide, please. Now, how does this work? So you pay a single subscription price on a monthly basis. You get a fixed number of credits. You can use those credits across any of the software and services that we have on the system. And then you can use it for a one-day access, like let's say one-day access to the information, or one-day access to Crunchbase, or you can even have content-based access. So like reading 6 books on Blinkist or any other like content-based systems. So it's as simple as that. Like we let you monetize that. We let you select your own selection of applications every month on month. Next slide, please. Now, why are we different? There are 2 biggest things we're different. We are not targeting the active customer base. We're targeting people who want to use the software only once or twice. And that's our biggest value add, because we are not touching a customer base. So we actually want to help our vendors gain a target market, which they actually haven't been able to target because of their current monthly subscription prices, which actually works very well for active customers, but does not work well for passive one-time users. And that's the market we're trying to target. We have currently, we're targeting 20 plus products. We have a flexible utilization model, subscription management capabilities, as well as we have the ability to target people in marketplaces in verticals like Zed, who target newsletters itself, to come on in our one vertical. So we are vertical agnostic particularly. Next slide. What is the market? The market is blowing up in terms of subscriptions. Even Taco Bell recently announced a subscription service. $17 billion in terms of underutilized annual subscription spending. We're going to go in phase 1, phase 2. So phase 1 is going to be students, which we know we're going to have all the products around the student vertical, undergrads, grads, around 25 million of them in America. And the phase 2, we're going to reach out to other working professionals also. So total target market of 2.25 billion. Next slide, please.
Yeah, so you're probably thinking like this offering sounds great for users, but the awesome thing for us is we've actually gotten some really great feedback from partners as well for the services that would come on board to our platform. And the bottom line reason is that we actually grow their customer acquisition at basically 0 cost to them. All we need partners to do is basically provide their content at a discount or into our flexible model. And as Rohan touched upon, because we are targeting these users who are ultimately incremental to them, they're not their core subscribers. These are kind of lower willingness to pay users. We are actually net additive, to our partner growth overall. We've also seen that we can minimize kind of that cannibalization effect by targeting specific groups of users.
15 seconds, Steve.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just skip ahead here. So, it sounds great, but we also do have some real world traction. We have 200 users in a capped beta and 14 official partners on board. So we're kind of at this middle phase, and we're really hoping for support from this group of judges to kind of help fund and validate our next phase of growth. Already seeing great results in our beta, driving meaningful discovery with 75% of our users, and 0% of those new users kind of cannibalizing the existing pipeline. So I'll just say we're really excited to have a really amazing team on board, and really look forward to your feedback as well.
Okay. All right, thank you. Just a minute or two for questions from the judges. You're kind of a little bit behind now on time.
A very impressive idea and the solution approach. To user, how are you is it like a Chrome extension? Is it like an app, or what exactly is the approach when you interrupt the flow and say, okay, please sign up for KEYE?
So that's a great question, Vijay. I'll take that. We're actually doing both. We actually want to get, so right now we have a website model, but we're also working on a Chrome extension. We're halfway there. Because we have currently 13 different platforms on 13 different services on our platform. We actually have a Chrome extension working for half of them, and we are increasing as we keep on adding. We need to increase the number of services also on the Chrome extension. But we feel like we want to have that Grammarly model, where you don't have to go to our website, but literally we come to wherever you have an issue, or wherever you feel like you want to use it only one time, use and not have to subscribe to that. So we are doing both. We want to break the chain flow of like you having to come to us and then subscribing to things. We want to come to you. So eventually that's the model that we are trying to pursue, is both the Grammarly model as well as the model where you can come to our website to explore different services.
Thank you.
Very impressive idea, the key. How are you going to go to the customers? How are what is going to be your go-to-market strategy for that? The undergrads and grads.
Yeah, I'm happy to take that one. So right now we are primarily focused on a B2C approach, using students and universities as kind of our beachhead market. So we've seen really high adoption. I mentioned we capped our beta at 200 users, but there's actually a wait list of about 2,000 students behind that who are really hungry to get access to all the beta services we've brought on board. That's primarily been a lot of guerrilla marketing through the chat groups that Rohan showed earlier, as well as kind of partnering with student group leaders at universities. But we're also exploring a second prong of that approach, which is actually partnering with universities and with libraries, because often university libraries are really hungry to offer their students more information services like Crunchbase, like PitchBook. But many universities have a really big overhead when it comes to negotiating with these content providers. So we actually see ourselves potentially as being able to help them smooth out kind of those negotiations with companies and cut their costs as well. So universities don't have to pay for like 5,000 seats of a specific service when it's only a small fraction of their users actually using those services.
Okay, thanks.
Great, thank you, Team Key. Great presentation. We'll give a couple of minutes to the judges and wait for the next team. As Team Savant, I think. They're on standby.
Yep, we're ready.
Okay, great.
We welcome our audience to ask questions. We have 2 minutes to spare.
Paolo, quick question. Is this product live and available as we speak?
Correct. Yeah, the product is live and it's somewhat available. You're welcome to join our waitlist. We're probably going to keep it capped for the next couple of weeks while we work through the feedback from our first beta test. But yeah, you can add your name. Rohan, correct me, but I believe it's at unlockkey.com. We're currently revamping our other site at key.co.
Okay, can you post a link onto the chat so that we can all of us can look at it?
Yeah, absolutely. Rohan, do you mind throwing in kind of the latest link on that? And just as a heads up, you won't be able to get into the actual product. I wish I had time during the presentation to actually walk you through it, but you'll just kind of see our homepage on that.
Okay, great. I think we're right on target for the next team. I guess we'll wait for the judges. Are they done?
Yes.
Great. All right, Team Savant, you're on. You can go. Time starts now.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. I'm Sunny.
I'm Claudia.
Deshik. And I'm Oliver. And we're Savant. The current education system is outdated. It's one of the only industries that hasn't changed in more than 100 years. Schools use old techniques like rote memorization and lectures, which are ineffective because they don't properly retain students' attention. They're neither exciting nor engaging. So how can we solve this? Savant is the world's first decentralized learning platform. This promotes experiential personalized learning through virtual reality.
Research has shown that experience is the best way for humans to learn. It aligns with our innate way of learning and is one that is obviously impressionable. Researchers are discovering the impact of experiential learning and how concrete experiences lead to reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. These are crucial elements of learning that have not been considered in the context of standard education.
Savant is a platform for educators and students to upload, view, and share virtual reality learning content. Our product MetaWeaver is our software that allows users to create these virtual environments that students will learn from. Students, parents, and teachers can access feedback on students' learning through a companion app on their mobile devices.
Why VR? Well, along with increased engagement and focus, interactive VR experience sparked creativity and imagination, inspiring students academically. In a study from PwC, learners trained with VR were up to 275% more confident to act on what they had learned after training. This is an overall 40% improvement over classroom taught students.
Our products include the virtual environment creation tool, MetaWeaver, and the paired platform, Savant. MetaWeaver will be linked with Savant, where the teacher can 1, create walkthrough lessons with testable checkpoints and tasks, or 2, create supplemental material such as visual playthroughs and journeys through topics without testable material.
A machine learning algorithm will work in the background to provide personalized feedback about student attention and performance, accessed through the companion app. We will offer Savant to students from grades 6 to 12, targeting middle and high school administrators to accomplish this. Our target markets consist of private and charter schools in New Jersey, specifically in Essex and Monmouth counties. These schools are better funded than public schools and are free to experiment and adopt new technology earlier. We intend on pitching to district superintendents and working with administrators and teachers to integrate Savant's platform into the current curriculum. According to DataBridge market research, the global virtual classroom market is expected to grow to almost $200 billion by 2028.
Our business model works on 3 levels. Students pay the subscription fee for access to Savant, and schools help cover the cost of materials needed for the VR experience, such as headsets, while the content creators, teachers, will pay a subscription fee for the use of MetaWeaver. Teachers will be able to share their content with other educators, gaining revenue with each use of their simulated learning environments.
Going forward with our product, we want to ensure equitable access to Savant and MetaWeaver. Savant will cost $5 monthly for students and $15 monthly for educators. It will cost a separate $30 a month for MetaWeaver. This is based on current pricing of similar 3D modeling software such as AutoCAD and Unity. Using these figures, we project a 5-year revenue of $26 million, which would grant investors a 30% annual return with a 10x multiple over those 5 years. And that would lead to an exit value of around $25 million. Investors and partners will be able to join our mission at different milestones, including the demo phases, minimum viable products 1 and 2, and the final launch of both Savant and MetaWeaver.
Virtual reality is the closest approximation we have to real life. Digital environments provide flexibility that would be impossible in the classroom, providing students with a whole universe of unique content to explore. Teachers will also benefit by receiving feedback from our background running AI on student performance and offering recommendation for other VR content or methods to help a student who may be struggling. We aim to personalize learning in a way that nurtures all students' abilities. Interactive VR experience will fundamentally change the way humans learn.
Have 20 seconds.
In the future, we hope to expand into the tutoring industry and across universities with the help of our advisory board. We know that learning can be revolutionized, and Savant hopes to be the catalyst for this new era in education. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Team Savant. Great presentation. Couple of minutes for Q&A, comments, feedback from the judges.
Great job, guys. I had a question regarding the market. You mentioned charter schools, and then you also use some numbers that are, I think, inclusive of public schools too. So in terms of percentage, charter schools are still a very small piece of the education industry as a whole. So can you just clarify that in terms of your market penetration, revenues, etc.? If it is it exclusively based on charter schools, or are we talking about maybe moving over into public schools too?
So I got this question. So we said it was private schools and charter schools, which charter schools, yes, they do account for a very small percentage of the education market. But combined with private schools, together, they're going to be a little over 25% of the total market. Initially, we're going to target these schools because we need that beginning revenue. And these are schools that are much better funded than public schools. They also have the added flexibility of being able to decide their own curriculum, make changes, and they're just generally more flexible than public schools. Further on down the line, our goal is to expand to public schools in New Jersey in those same counties. And then from there, we'll expand hopefully to the tri-state area and then further. Does that answer your question?
It does to some extent. I just wanted to warn you that the sales cycle, and you're absolutely right, charter school is easier to make the sale to, so therefore makes sense to be the initial target market. But the sales strategy for public schools is almost completely different. So you've got to be a little cognizant of that shift. Whenever you're ready to make that shift, it'll kind of, almost the entire sales strategy will have to change quite dramatically. And you may be already aware of this, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have seen the VR-based educational or training being very effective in terms of vocational training and the equipment training, etc., which is funded by enterprise and so on. VR-based training for the school children. I want to understand what type of content or use case you have identified or built so far towards that for this segment.
Yeah, I can take that question. So when intending the product for school children, we realize that it's going to be drastically different than corporate training in the sense that it's more skills that relate to the subjects that they're learning in school. So in the sense that K-12 are exposed to subjects like history, literature, biology, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. We intend to first test out these use cases in the sense that our product is more decentralized, where teachers are able to choose the content that they wish to upload to the platform. While we suggest use cases for those subjects and will initially partner with schools, we intend for it to range over a larger group of subjects so that we're not restricting it to the traditional subjects that they're learning in school.
So two specific, to fully answer your question, two specific use cases that I think are already being used in some schools are virtual field trips, particularly in the context of history classes. For example, imagine you have a group that's learning about the pyramids of Giza. And obviously, no class is going to go on a field trip to those pyramids, but with Savant, they'll be able to quite literally go into a virtual reality environment and explore inside and outside of those pyramids. Another use case is further on down the line. This is a little bit more complicated. Chemistry labs and physics labs. There's a whole host of experiments that are dangerous or even illegal to do, and doing them in a virtual environment would make those accessible and safe for students.
Time is up, guys. Sorry, but thanks for that. We can move on to the next team, but just give a minute or two to the judges, I guess, to do the scoring.
Okay, thank you.
The next team, Smart MS3, available or on standby?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, great. The judges, please let us know when you're done.
We are good, Arun.
Is everyone able to
right.
see the screen?
You're good.
We can see your screen, yes. All right, Smart MS3, you're on. Go ahead.
Hi, we're Smart MS3, and we're here to bring adherence to rehab. The modern physical therapy patient needs to follow this basic journey when it comes to physical rehab. They get injured, they have to enroll into a therapy clinic, and then they end up dropping their program in a short amount of time. However, this is an archaic method which just leads to a decrease in motivation over the long-term recovery journey. Out of the 20 visits given to patients, only 8% of people completed 12 PT visits, while 70% quit within 5. The problem is getting worse. There are 110 million Americans that fail to finish their program. The reason why they leave is because they simply do not see themselves getting better. When patients don't see themselves getting better, they leave. This typically occurs between 1 to 2 weeks of physical therapy. In reality, all this really does is lead patients to get re-injured, only to find themselves undergoing invasive procedures or jumping to another physical therapy clinic. On the clinic side, they lose patients so that it causes huge disruptions in their own clinics. Right now, clinics are losing up to $5 billion annually. It's a loss situation for everyone involved.
Our team has further validated these problems with physical therapists and patients through an NSF-funded customer discovery. Physical therapists report low retention rates while patients report low understanding of the exercise. This is because of the subjective data that PTs provide. This is where our team will step in to provide a wearable biofeedback solution to provide objective data in order to accelerate the efficiency of physical therapy. In this video, you can see that the device can simply be attached to any injured muscle group, and it picks up on the electrical activation of the muscle. On the software side, our team will provide the personalized therapy program to monitor and track rehab. Here, we can showcase visual muscle feedback and provide comprehensive analysis on muscle fatigue. The data can also predict analytics for when a patient can expect to be recovered, and also provide AI-generated exercise recommendations. Our device also ensures that patients and physical therapists stay connected outside of the clinic.
After understanding the true issues behind the journey of physical therapy, our team has gone through a pilot program with 2 clinics serving 40 patients over a 3-month period during COVID. Through this pilot test, we've measured 4 main criteria for problems both the clinics and patients face. For the patients, we measured how many of them were doing exercises the correct way and how engaged they were. On the clinic side, our team measured overall compliance rate and retention rate of patients. After a careful analysis of the market opportunity available, our first goal is targeting the 210 million market opportunity. This category includes 250 clinics affiliated with Ivy Rehab with whom we have already secured a partnership. Our next goal includes orthopedic clinics, expanding to 19,800 clinics with a financial opportunity of 17 billion. Our ultimate goal is all physical therapy clinics, which includes neurology, sports medicine, and pediatric clinics with a market opportunity of 38 billion.
Our latest market venture is into the pediatric space. We have separated the pediatric market into 2 categories of patients with neurodegenerative diseases and pediatric sport injuries. Patients with neurodegenerative diseases such as cerebral palsy need consistent therapy that can be accessible from the comfort of their own homes, as many of these patients are immobile. Our deadly advantage when it comes to our current competitors is the analysis of data we do and the way we present this information to patients. There are plenty of biofeedback companies out there which simply spit raw data out to patients. What makes us different is we pick out the actionable insights from the data itself and provide AI-generated exercise recommendations and intensity alongside well-crafted progress reports to simply provide information on muscle improvement during physical therapy.
Our customers are physical therapy clinics and the consumers are the patients. The business model we are using is a one-time upfront payment for the hardware device itself, coupled with a monthly software payment for each patient using the device. Consumers who use our product are also eligible to be reimbursed on charges based on what insurance plan they're on. Consumers can get up to a full reimbursement for using this product through these codes. This is our 3-year financial model. We've already recruited 300 clinics and are projected to earn over $5 million in revenue by year 3.
Our team is very diverse, with our members having backgrounds in biology, neuroscience, engineering, and finance, located at several universities in the US. Our advisory board consists of several entrepreneurs, doctors, physical therapists, and is growing as we connect with more pediatric specialists. Join us as we revolutionize physical therapy. Thank you.
Great job, right on time. Thank you, Team MS3. With that, that's the last team for this event. Judges, you have any questions, comments, feedback for this team? As well as the audience.
Maybe I'll start with the first question. I think you guys were there for the last, either the year before or maybe 2 years ago. Akashdeep, I recall, had presented this idea. So I'm glad to see that you're sticking with it. Is it the same team or has there been some changes in the team?
Yeah, it's the same team. The three of us actually joined on this year as well. So we've been working very closely with Akash. And so we've all been, helping each other pitch when we can.
All right, great. So my question is regarding the revenue model piece. You said 200 and then 20 per month. Is that something you've tested in some clinics and see how it works? What is the feedback you got?
Yeah, I believe so. So in the trials that we ran, I'm not entirely too sure on how much we were charging, but we've consulted with the clinics and all the different physical therapy clinics that we've worked with and the ones that we've signed on. And so this is the price range that we've kind of come to a conclusion with that would work and that they'd be able to kind of meet with. And additionally, it also coincides, as you can see, with the reimbursements depending on which insurance their patients are on. So then it also kind of covers that. So the pricing isn't too costly for any of the clinics.
All right. Thank you.
The instruments that you're using, you said is $200 cost that is there. And then you're using the software. Is it too bulky for people to handle? How is the response of the product that you have been using?
Yeah.
So,
you can say
yeah,
that.
so our product is used by the physical therapist. So when the patient is using the product, they're always being monitored with the physical therapist. So they already know what they're doing. And the device is pretty small. It's not very big. You just put it on the muscle group and you can just see the numbers on the software side.
Okay, because most of the people don't tend to go to physical therapist after 2 to 3 visits, as you mentioned. So how is this product going to help since they are not regularly visiting the therapist?
Well, they actually will be visiting the therapist. So what happens is the idea is when you are going to physical therapy and you're doing the exercises, there's no way to visually represent your progress, right? Like when you're doing your exercises with your physical therapist, you can't see how much your muscle group's improving. Now, when you go to physical therapy and you're working with your physical therapist, they'll place the device on the muscle group that you're working on, and you'll have the software up and running during your sessions. So as you're doing the exercises, you can literally see in real time, oh, my muscle group is working, so these exercises work. So then you'll be more inclined to do the exercises at home. And then eventually, with more funding and developing the product, we'll be able to create a device that you can take home and use it as well. Currently, the way the device can only be used at the physical therapy's office because we need a physical therapist to place it at the correct muscle group. And it needs to be in a very specific spot. But even then, that showed to have a 5 times retention rate, and it's increased customer engagement with their physical therapy process. So as long as you can see that visualization there during your exercises, that's the main goal of it.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments or questions? Otherwise, I'm really impressed. We're right on time, 12:20 on the dot.
Good job, guys.
It's very amazing, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. Neetu, anything else that we need? We'll give the judges some time, of course. But the final tally is going to be made, and we're going to announce the results on Monday. Are we announcing the Audience Choice Awards right now, Neetu, or is that also going to be on Monday?
Let me just see if I can pull that out right away.
So as I said earlier, the winner is going to represent TiE New Jersey at the TiE Global Pitch Competition, which is on May 6th in Silicon Valley. In addition to that, I think the second winning team will get a chance to be part of all the workshops and the boot camps, which are going to be happening over the next month. Well, no matter what the outcome, though, all the teams, I think, have done a great job. You've taken the first step towards, launching your vision. It was amazing to see all these impactful and world-changing ideas. It's really nice. And everything from saving the planet to saving your gums. I mean, what else do you want, right? It's great. So we will announce the results, as I said, on Monday. Neetu, do we have any announcements right now?
If you can give me another 5 minutes, I'm just trying to get the.
That's fine. Let's do
choice
let's make all the announcements on Monday then.
together. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
all
fine.
right.
So we don't want to hold back everybody else from taking full advantage of I think it's a nice day. I'm not sure.
That's right.
But like to, before everybody goes, thank you all for joining us. I see Raman, you're back. Please, if you have any parting words for these entrepreneurs.
I'm just amazed. Bravo to all the entrepreneurs. They're all of you are winners. Just based on what you've done, it's so nice to see. And we wish you all the very best in your journey as entrepreneurs and future TiE members as well. Thank you, Arun, Neetu, Mukesh, and thank you, judges. Excellent job. So, and with that, it is indeed a nice day outside. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah, big thank you to all the judges. I really appreciate them spending their morning, listening to these entrepreneurs. And thank you to the audience for joining us. And thank you to my co-host and all the rest of the TiE organizing committee. All right, great. And so we'll be in touch. Judges, if you don't mind, could you stay back for a few minutes?
And thank you, Neetu and Arun, for organizing so well.
Yeah. Excellent. Bravo all around.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Good
job, guys.
Thank you, Suresh. So you guys, we could wait for a few minutes if you don't mind.
Yes, certainly.
So I'm just running that script for the Audience Choice Award.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry about it. I think.
Yeah, I think we can do it on Monday.
Engaged.
Don't rush it. I suggest do it Monday.
Okay. I mean, I just ran it, so let's see.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm a TiE Boston member long term, and will you be listing the presenters in an email?
I'm sorry, we didn't get that.
Yeah, so as a TiE member in Boston, I'm curious to know if the companies that presented will be listed in an email so that if we have an interest, we can follow up with one of the companies.
Yeah, we could do that, sure. A list of all the
Excellent
companies,
idea.
right?
Yeah. Let's do that. Makes sense.
That's great, and a terrific event. So I look forward to staying in contact with your chapter.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Could you announce your name, sir?
Yes, Robert Rosenberg.
Thank you so much, Robert, for joining the event.
It was my pleasure, and thank you for having me.